6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Known them to run their mouths about politics. Politics, schmalitics. Well, little did you know, they can run their mouths about other stuff as well. This is the Mark G Show. They have a natural curiosity about just about everything, from aliens, the paranormal, to the biggest natural disasters that have ever occurred on planet Earth, and everything in between. Two brothers from another mother ripping it up. And, oh no, we don't record the show. We have the balls to do it live. Call into the show at 207-370-5852. That's 207-370-5852. Be a part of the show. Let's do it. This is the Mark G Show. And now your hosts, Mark G and Gary G.
What's going on? TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and Kicked. What is happening, everybody? We are broadcasting live today with my brother Gary, my brother from another mother. We got Zach down there below. Sorry to my wife for blowing your eardrums. That was not my intentions, or was it? Anyways, we got a hell of a topic for y'all tonight. We're gonna start off and say, "What's up, Gary? What's happening, my man? How are you?"
What's going on? I'm good. Let's do this.
All right. When are you gonna get that head shave, man?
You know, I thought about it again today, so I think the time will probably happen at some point. I mean, look, dude, it's so much work, Zach.
It's time to take the clippers. Just go.
So much work.
And then we got Zach down here. Ladies, I know you're all looking for Zach to take off his shirt, but we told him to keep his clothes on during the show. Zach, what is going on?
Oh man, I'm good. You know, covering, but good. Ready to do this.
Covering, yeah. You had a rough night last night.
Oh, a rough day.
I mean, did you black out, Zach? That's the question. Did you black out?
At the end of the night, I did.
So you accomplished your mission.
I mean, I wasn't blackout like Sully blackout, but you know, the last thing I remember was being in McFiddle's live, and then I was in bed waking up the next day.
Okay. So yeah, that was a good night then. That was a good night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a hell of a topic for y'all tonight. But before I get into the topic and let y'all know what it is, I'm going to get a quick disclaimer out of the way here because we are in some social medias that are kind of soft. So with that being said, for YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, Kick, and TikTok, everything you hear on our show tonight is the opinions of myself, my brother, Zach, or any guests that come on the show. And you do the information as you please, do your own research, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Now that that's out of the way, as y'all know, I'm on TikTok quite a bit. And as I've been browsing TikTok, I'm seeing a lot more videos that are talking about our economy, how people are now working 2 jobs just to try to survive. And unfortunately, even these 2 jobs are just not cutting it. They still can't friggin' pay rent. Or they're having trouble paying rent. They're having trouble getting gas. Our economy is going down the hill. I know I said I was going to try not going fully political within these podcasts, but I can't help it. But ever since this current administration has been in the place, our economy has gone further and further down, worse than it has been in our generation from what I've seen. I've never seen it like this in my lifetime. Gentlemen, words, because I see Gary like, oh shit, Mark said it there. So Gary, what you got? Because Gary and I were having this conversation. I had to tell Gary to shut up earlier because as I was telling him that what we were talking about here, he had his own opinion on it. So, right, we can both agree that when we go to the store, you're spending 10 to 15 times more money now on all your groceries. It costs you about $100 to walk out, like Gary said, with 1 bag of freaking groceries. It's absolutely insane. People are living on the streets here in America, and they got jobs. Some of these people have got jobs, they're working, but yet they're still living on the streets because the cost of rent is so high. Now, Do we blame the landlords for it? I don't think so, because they're still trying to make their money. They got cost of living that's gone up between the fixes of the places, the heating of the places. They've got their own cost as well. Plus the APR mortgages right now, if you were to go buy a place, is out fucking outrageous. But yeah, Gary, so I want to get to you because you started this off and you weren't really blaming it on the economy with people talking about the cost of everything lately. So I would like to go to you on this one. So when someone's sitting there telling you, I'm having a hard time going grocery shopping, I'm working 2 jobs. I can't find it livable with this. What am I supposed to do?
Totally. And just for a reference, mortgage rates back in 1981 were 16.64%. But houses were also like $40,000. But there's still a 16% APR for 40 years ago or whatever, just for point of reference. So yes, 7% is really high when you're taking out a loan for $600,000 house. Totally get it. But
Right.
these aren't the highest APRs that we've ever had. So, I mean, look, man, people are fucking horrible at managing their money. Let's just cut the bullshit. Like, if people are making $100,000 a year and they're struggling and they're living beyond their means, they need to learn how to manage their money. Now, if they have kids and they're doing whatever they got to do, they're probably still going out. They're probably still spending money on shit they don't need to spend money on. Like, and I'm coming from a place where I don't have any kids and I'm in a different situation, but I see people who make $60,000. They have 3 kids. They're paying their bills just fine and they're getting along just fine. So,
right. Well, the problem is it's like paying your bills. Paying your bills is one thing, right? We're working to pay our bills.
right.
But back in the day, I'm going to say during the last administration, I was able to work, run my business, pay my bills, and go have fun with my family and do stuff with my family. And I've noticed a lot more families within my area that they're finding out that that's all they're doing now is to work to live, work for your rent, work for your lights, work for your food. But there's no pleasure time whatsoever. They're not able to go camping with their family. They're not able to take their kids to amusement parks because the finances are just not there. Is that money mismanagement or is that the cost of living? Because you got to live to survive. And that's where a lot of people are seeing it right now.
I think it's both, man. I know people who don't make a lot of money and they're doing just fine. And I know people that make a lot of money and they're struggling. I think, look, groceries are too expensive. Gas is pretty fucking expensive. The inflation is real. I'm not saying it's not real. People are horrible at managing their money. Sorry.
Zach, Zach, you're very quiet down there. You got a lot of nodding going on. What is your thought process on this one, Zach? You're a guy with a father of 1 child. So
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I always pay my bills 2 weeks ahead, and I'm good. But like Gary said, other people, they don't know how to manage their shit. And also another reason is a word I'm not going to be able to say on live because I don't want to get nannered. a certain individual that's in office.
Gotcha. Okay.
100%. Yeah. I am fully in agreement with that.
All right. So you're in agreement to that, but what you're saying is even though that the economy is shit and people paying $4 a gallon and they get 1 bag of groceries to try to feed their family for a week is still money mismanagement. This is where I'm trying.
Okay, so let's think about this real quick. So people have their Hulu, they have their Amazon, they're buying a shitload of Starbucks. They're buying a bunch of shit they don't need. You can buy a bag of coffee and brew your shit at home. You don't need to go out. You don't need Hulu, Disney, Amazon Prime. You don't need all of these things, right? So when times get tough,
Mick Fiddle. Hold on 1 second, Gary. Mick Fiddle. If you disagree with Gary, please. This is why I do a podcast like this and open up to a platform because I want people to come in. I want people to debate. That's what makes a podcast. So McFiddle, if you feel the need to debate, don't leave. Jump in and talk. We can have these debates. That's what I want. I want these debates. For anybody out there listening, if you want to debate, you have your own peace of mind on here, please, for the love of God, grab a box, come in and chat with us, okay? Because this is what I want. This is the debate. This is why I wanted to do a podcast like this tonight, because I wanted people to come back at, whether it's coming at me, coming at Gary, coming at Zach. I want y'all to join in and get at this.
Let's be honest. You want people to come at me.
Of course I do. I mean, come on now. Yes, housing prices have increased 50% in the last 4 to 5 years. I 100% agree with you on that, McFiddle. And rentals and sales, yes, 100% agree with you. And that is one of the reasons why we do got a lot of people sleeping on the streets today, is because of that.
Hey, you know what? I live in a 3-bedroom. I only pay $905 a month.
Well, why is it?
Also, I feel like prices for rentals or anything, it just depends on the area that you're fucking in.
Well, it is number one, your area. So Zach, let's just say, so your place right now, what would you say? Oh, wait, we got McFiddle coming in. Hold on one second. We're bringing in McFiddle.
My buddy, he owns a rental property where he's from, and he was here Friday night with me because he went to the game with me Saturday, and he was like, how many units is in this complex? I'm like, probably about 70 to 80. And he's like, okay. He's like, how many are in each building? We were sitting outside and we were counting all the buildings and all the units. He's like, dude, if I wanted to buy this property, it'd be about 20 mil.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know who buys them then? People that are foreign investors who are buying the real estate, oftentimes in areas like where I live, South Florida, flipping them into Airbnbs and vacation rentals, removing all of the affordable housing options for the people who live in the city and work in industries such as hospitality, restaurants, hotels, all of the industries that are needed to support an economy that's based on tourism, and now have nowhere to live. My rent for a normal 3-bedroom shack, $3,400 a month. $3,400.
That's fucking
That's
crazy.
more than people in that industry make per month. So I fully disagree that it's all mismanagement. Fully 100%. You're wrong. It depends on where you live.
That I agree with Gary.
I mean, anybody can move. Like if shit gets too expensive, I left LA. I got a new job and I left LA.
Are you gonna take my kids? Are you gonna go to court for me and argue with my family about how I'm removing my children from their father? Because then you can tell me what a terrible mother I am by moving my children away from their father.
All right.
So that's what we're looking at. So we're looking at this in different aspects, right? We got a way different aspects. That's why I wanted to do the podcast like this, because we have a couple aspects, right? We got Zach, a single father, his daughter lives with him on every other weekend.
No, I get her. So me and her mom's schedule it's a little different. Like, for instance, I didn't have her this past weekend, but I'll have her tomorrow and Tuesday. Then her mom will have her Wednesday and Thursday. Then I'll have her this upcoming weekend. And the next week it's the opposite. She'll have her Monday, Tuesday. I'll have her Wednesday, Thursday, and then she'll have her next weekend.
Okay. So
it's like 50-50.
50-50. Okay. And then you got me, business owner that has 5 friggin' children, 4 still underneath my roof. You've got Mick Fiddle. Don't know how many kids she has. I know.
I have 3 boys. I have 3 boys. I have a side business and I work full time. And we have joint custody.
All right. And then Gary, which is great because Gary is looking at this in a different realm without children.
He has no children and he only has to support himself.
And his wife.
Well, I support my wife.
Right.
Yeah.
So
does she work?
No, my wife's a cancer survivor, so she's retired.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, we got different aspects, which is great because everybody's looking at this and everybody's in different parts of the world. I'm from Maine. Once again, another tourist attraction. Mick Fiddle, Florida.
South Florida.
Tourist attraction. Zach, Ohio. Not so much a tourist attraction. Gary.
Nobody wants to go to Ohio.
Gary in Portland, Oregon, which any Republican's trying to avoid. But we're
yeah, but I relocated from LA because LA was too fucking expensive and it was too shitty of a place to live.
But when you look at that, right, you talk about relocation. I do want to go on the relocation because she did make a valid point. When you do have separations between parents with children, we've seen it with our father. Actually, it's hard to do that. It's hard, and I'll tell you, as a child, when I lived out there and then got shipped back, but being that separation from your other parent when they're in another state is really hard for a child, and it does build resentment, right?
I've done it. I did it.
Be a bad mom.
You did it, but it builds resentment.
For who? Who do I resent?
You might not resent, but for some child it does, especially when you live like a certain lifestyle that I've lived with my mother and stuff like that. Dude, I'm going to admit that I'm not going to say I had the best freaking childhood. I did not. I had a pretty shitty fucking childhood. But, and then do I wish I had a father figure all my life? Yeah. So you look at different aspects of that. So, but the only reason why I'm trying to say that is if you look at the aspect of being a parent that's separated, that is rough. You don't want to leave your child in another state.
Additionally, the job market, like, yes, I could leave, but the industries that I'm going to be hired in with what I do, it would be hard to live in a remote area.
Okay. I struggle to work 3 jobs. So Vicky says she works 3 jobs to get bills paid and try to have more to play. And that's one thing, like you're finding out when you and I were younger, Gary, how much did it cost for you? Actually, mine was probably even cheaper than you. But
I manage my money well, Gary.
Gary, when you were young, when you got your first place, did you get your first place on your own while these two are eating their ice cream together?
I did get my first place on my own.
Okay. How much was your rent when you first moved out?
Like $900 a month.
Mark, watch it. Ooh.
When I first moved to South Florida and got out of the Army, and my rent for a 2-bedroom apartment was $865 for a 2-bedroom apartment. That same apartment would be $2,500 or more right now with not new furnishings. It's not renovated. There's nothing else you're getting. It's not a better property.
So,
yeah, I mean, the first place I lived in was probably the size of my office right now. It was it wasn't even a single bedroom. It was a studio apartment, and it was $800 a month. I think that same place now is going for about $2,000, and it's a box. It's just a box.
It's a box.
Right?
Yeah, we have those too.
Yeah.
Was that
So-
in California?
Yeah, it was in Southern California.
yeah, Vicky, I'll agree with you, Vicky. My first apartment, that's what I was trying to go at because we're looking at how the
I have a
price
remote
has
job.
inflated, right? Because my first ever apartment was even cheaper than Vicky's. Mine was $375 a month in a city.
$285 in Michigan.
When I lived in the city in Biddeford, my first ever apartment was $375
What city,
a month.
Mark?
I live in Maine, so it was in the southern Maine area. And it was,
When was that? Like year wise?
oh dear God, my first ever apartment I got when I was 17 years old. I'm 43.
So I was 16 in Michigan. My first ever apartment. It was $285 a month.
Jesus. So
Crazy.
and now you look at it like my children. I tease them about moving out. Obviously, I don't care how long it takes them because I want them to be able to have a place. But my 2 oldest, I tease them all the time. But I know the reason why they're still here because they can't do like what we all did and go get a place on their own for the first time ever. Not with the way the job economy is going. We've been told by our local government that jobs are out there. You can get hired anywhere, right? They're telling you jobs are out there. But to be honest with you, they're not.
There's a lot of jobs that are available.
There are, but if you're already in that industry,
And you're approved above one of the 800 other applicants on LinkedIn.
right?
LinkedIn is whatever. Like I've looked on LinkedIn recently and the job description for LinkedIn is complete garbage. But there are, for somebody who's younger, able-bodied and willing to do work, there are plenty of jobs that pay, $80,000+.
If they're getting
There's
a
a lot of
trade.
them.
If they're getting a trade,
So
they
get
can
into a trade. What's
Well,
wrong with a trade? I feel like trades
Trades are great.
There's nothing wrong with
trades
a
are
trade.
amazing, and we have, as a society, have demonized trades. So learn how to fucking computer program. No, how about you learn how to cut
I agree
stone?
100% with you on this one,
Right?
Gary.
Yeah,
I
so
agree with you.
trades have been demonized. Sorry, dude. Trades have been demonized. And I think that that's bullshit because
No, and we agree with you, but the thing is, here's the problem. Let's go back. What's that?
I said, check this out.
What are we looking at, Zach? I'm about ready to bitch here.
I'm fucking certified in welding.
Nice.
Collision repair technology.
But you know what? I didn't do shit with it. Just like my college degree, I didn't do shit with it.
But here's the problem with that. Once again, we're going back, and this is prior administrations beyond our current two, the current one and the one past. We have a problem in our schools right now. They're not teaching children trade anymore. They're not pushing trade school anymore. They're not.
That's not the only problem with our school system.
Oh,
but you
hell no.
yeah, exactly. So
There's
like
so much
this, all of
problem.
these things that we're talking about, like people not having proper
I'm about to have
qualifications,
Michelle jump on screen.
like to not have better jobs, that is like it's a multi-pronged problem, right? It's not just that the economy is in a bad spot or that there's inflation. It's like you were saying, there's a bunch of foreign investors coming in, but it's like our education system has been on the decline for many, many years. Like we're lower in math and science. Our health is lower. Like there's a lot of areas where we're dropping where we used to be the top. And if people and schools and parents were in a position to do a better job and like help develop skills and set their fucking kids up for success, we wouldn't be in this position.
The problem is we do what we can. Now,
It's always the parents,
the thing is with the parents,
sure.
especially for people who don't have kids.
the parenting though, you look at, we can only do so much as a parent. You got to remember, we got the school system that teaches your kids.
I'm talking about our parents. Like what skills did we have growing up? Like I'm in sales.
No, I moved out when I was 16.
I don't remember because all I know is when my breakfast was done and my cereal was eaten, my mother told me to get the hell outside and
So
go.
we're latchkey kids. We're latchkey kids.
We learned a lot. We learned street value though, which was good for us. And
Right.
unfortunately, these kids don't
Well, I
have
think
street
a
value.
lot of parents do too much for their kids currently. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of
Helicopter parents.
places we could do better.
There's helicopter parents that are trying to like, they're hovering over their kids and they're not letting their kids like struggle. School.
Yeah. And teachers are afraid to let kids struggle.
There.
100%, because then they're going to be called out by parents and administrators for letting a kid.
So
fall
let's talk
behind.
about that really quick because that's a problem too, right? Like an A is now like an 80%. Right? Like if you get an 80% on a score, that's still an A.
Not at my kids, but maybe.
Well, that's fucking good. That's really good to hear. Like the school system is broken. It's been broken. Like we keep lowering standards and now people don't have the skills. The participation trophies were not good for our society.
Participation trophies, absolutely.
Like that's what I'm talking about. So like there's a lot of things that are making the situation what it is today. It's not just the economy is bad. It's not just foreign investors coming in. Like there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, no, we're bad all around.
We are 100%.
We're failing on all fronts right now.
Right.
All of them.
That's the point.
And that's why the economy is bad. And we continue to just keep doing the same thing and electing the same people.
And allowing the division happening. Here we go. This is where I'm going to get a little scared. And we're having a division when a lot of people need to start waking up. And I mean this, we all need to start waking up. We're being divided by stupid shit. We're being divided by color and people are falling for it. When back in the day, we didn't give two shits what you were. All we cared about was what kind of person you was. You are either a TikTok. You are either a dick. You are either good. You are either cool. We were separated in high school. We had our
They
stoners.
want you to be distracted by that stuff so you don't pay attention to the division in class and all the other issues that are going on.
Hey, in high school, I was fucking friends with everyone. I was a football player. I smoked the dragon grass.
You hated everyone equally. Don't lie.
I was
You didn't have
friends with fucking everyone in high school.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I wasn't set to a certain fucking side. I was friends with the unpopular kids. I was friends with the popular kids. I was right in the middle.
Same.
Where you want you fucking kids to be nowadays?
Right. No, you were friends with everybody, but they still though. Remember in high school we had it. We had our stoners, we had
Oh, yeah, we
had
had
your
the clique.
gangsters, you had your jocks, you're all separated. And you don't really see that anymore.
No,
You see pretty I mean you still got your jocks, but I'm not even sure if they're jocks anymore.
no, now they're just pussies.
I knew that was
They're
coming.
soft.
As soon as you
They're
said that.
soft. They're
They're
very
very-
soft.
We're raising a very soft generation. We are absolutely raising a soft
They're
generation.
seeking comfort. They're not seeking discomfort, right? So like everyone wants to Netflix and chill. Everyone wants to go out and buy their Starbucks. Like people are not doing the things that are setting them up to better position themselves for success in life. They're taking the comfortable road. They're not inflicting like the struggle on themselves in the proper way. So it's like they're getting too comfortable and then they're stuck in this fucked up situation and they don't know how to get out of it because they
Right,
never
right.
learned any skills.
But here's another problem with our children. And this is a big one. We can train our kids. Remember how we used to have our commercials on TV with an egg and the egg cracked and it fried. This is your brain. This is your brain. All right, we had those commercials when we were kids. You know, we still didn't listen. But back then, when we were kids, there was nothing as like it is today. And unfortunately,
Well,
that's
nowadays fentanyl's legal. Heroin's like it's
right.
legal.
Be careful, Gary. Be careful. But yes, that is one thing that we have right now is we have that issue in our state, and we're allowing our politicians to legalize a lot of the stuff in certain states. For instance, your state just legalized every freaking one out there, didn't they?
It's like I think 3 years or so ago, literally every type of drug was made. I don't know if it was legal or completely decriminalized, but it's to the point where if you jaywalk, you get a ticket. But if you're literally smoking crack in front of a cop, they don't do anything about it. But they'll give someone a ticket for jaywalking.
Oh,
Like
no, dude.
It doesn't make sense. Like
I got one even better, bro. I forget where the fuck it was in California when I was on Warped Tour, but it was fuck, where was it at? It'll come to me once I'm done telling the story probably. But dude, there was kids getting tickets for like smoking a cigarette or chewing gum or spitting on the sidewalk.
spitting on the sidewalk, yeah.
Yeah. And like we're like, what the fuck, dude? They're trying everything they could do to like fucking not have this show go on. So the dude for Warped Tour was like, hey, if you guys got one of these citations, bring it to the venue in California. The next one, we'll give you a free ticket to the show and all this shit. Like fucking stupid shit like that. Like chewing a piece of gum, you get a ticket for.
Well,
spit on the sidewalk.
And now you can drop a deuce in the street in San Francisco and Portland and Seattle, and that's 100% okay. You can take a Sharpie pokey object into someone's skin, and that's okay. But if you cross the street at a place where it's not designated to cross the street, you're a criminal. Like the system is broken.
It was in Irvine, California.
Irvine. All right, let me do a quick thing real quick, you guys. We got 3 people watching on all social media platforms on the other ones other than TikTok. Please note the voices that you're hearing, they are live on TikTok with us. For everybody that's about ready to come on TikTok, please note that this is a live recording of a podcast. So if you're ready to speak and we're currently conversating, please just do me a favor. Put your hand up. If you guys screaming kids, please go to another room. But this is a live recording that is going on Apple and Spotify by tomorrow morning. But I will start bringing in people that are requesting because I do see we got a list of people that do want to talk on this matter. Tammy and Vicky, I'll bring you in. Kristen, I will wait to bring you in here shortly. So we're going to bring in Tammy and we're going to bring in Vicky as well. But yeah, so this is a big topic, right? Because this is big on everybody's mind. Oh.
Mute it. Everybody mute.
One thing.
Yes.
So I had to do a 5-hour driving course because all of our insurance rates in New York are going up 15%. So my insurance agent told me to do the driving course. Okay, fine. So it lowers me 10%. Anyway, In the course, there was a whole chapter about substance abuse when driving. And they were talking about like the narcotics, how it says the warning label says don't take it, makes you drowsy, blah, blah, blah. Talking about the alcohol intake for DWIs and blah, blah, blah. But yet somebody can be driving because it happened and the cop didn't do nothing about it. So if you're impaired driving, whether you're taking a narcotic for pain or you're drinking or you're smoking, if you're smoking, you're high. If you're high, you're impaired. But you're allowed to drive higher than a kite, cause an accident, and you get a slap on the hand.
Make it make sense.
I just don't. So, yeah, exactly.
Kind of nonsense.
It's gotten ridiculous. It's gotten ridiculous.
Right. I mean, Gary, what are your thoughts on that one?
Look, when it comes to substance abuse, I've lived on both sides of this fence. You know what I mean? I've spent 20 years of my life in a fucking haze. So I don't think it's great. It makes me really disappointed to see society completely decriminalizing substances, embracing the substance abuse. I think there's a problem. I don't have a solution for it, but I know that there's a problem. There's a problem with everything being decriminalized and legalized and being readily available for everyone to use. I mean, I haven't been downtown Portland in a year and a half or so. But I know last time I was down there were used syringes floating around the street. There was people freebasing opioids in the street. Like it was readily available. Like the city puts programs in to where they do an exchange. Like they say they're going to take your used sharps and then give you clean ones, but they don't take the used ones. They just keep giving out clean ones. And that's enabling. They're enabling the problem. And I don't think it's good for society.
It's absolutely not good for society. Like I said, it used to be bad for us, right? I mean, they're coming after stupid stuff too. Okay, so they're legalizing all this stuff, but yet they're attacking flavored tobacco products. Here's another example, right? They're attacking flavored tobacco products because it's bad and they don't know what's going on. They want to ban all flavors, including menthol, the most generic one, because it's bad. But yet they won't go if they're going after that because that's bad. Why are they not going after flavored alcohol? Granted, I don't drink anymore, so it's not a big thing for me, but think about that. Why would you go after this flavored, but you won't go after flavored alcohol when teenagers who drink will more than likely end up 86 someone from either getting behind a wheel drunk or taking care of themselves because they don't know when to quit and they get alcohol poisoning and they die from drinking. But yet we're going to come after flavored tobacco, which I'm sorry, but in the UK, they're now putting flavored tobacco shops inside of hospitals as a smoking cessation Zach, you never heard that?
What?
Yeah. There's been three hospitals in the UK that have now opened up vape shops.
So Narcan is available everywhere for free, but flavored tobacco is illegal.
Correct. They're trying to ban it. There's a lot of states in our state, in the state of Maine, they banned them in separate towns. Like in the city of Portland, you can't buy flavoreds at all. The state of Maine has banned you from ordering them online, so you can't get them. You have to buy them here, and they've increased the tax on these. I think the tax on this is like a 37.5% tax on these type of products.
But if you want Narcan and free sharps,
you can
just go downtown and they'll hook you up.
Yeah, our world has gone mad.
Or here's another one. You can get Narcan for free. But I just lost a buddy of mine a few years back because he's diabetic. And you know what he couldn't get?
His supplies.
Yeah, his insulin. He couldn't get his insulin because the cost of insulin on a kid who's young but works and cannot get approved for state medical. So unfortunately, he could afford it. Now, here's why I am going to bitch about the current administration. So sorry, TikTok and all social media platforms. The last president in office, I'm not going to mention names because that's how we get bananaed. The last president in office lowered the cost of insulin to make it affordable for the American people. The current president came in, hiked up that price again because he signed away the bill. So now it's costing more again. And now he's talking about how he wants to lower it so it can be on him.
Oh, yeah. The same one that was all gung-ho over an ice cream stand instead of addressing a school
Piper, I'm
trauma.
sorry. Right? Well, here's the funny part. We're talking about the economy. You know how the economy is about ready to go up again? We're going to see gas hikes coming up here. Probably everybody will start seeing gas hikes in about 45 days. We just shut down. They just shut down, I think, 3 to 4 more pipelines up in Alaska.
You know, I think one of the bigger problems you're talking about the administration is that people don't pay attention to their local elections. This is a huge issue. Everybody wants to vote for president. Everybody wants to vote for their governor. But you know what? Who's in charge of your local issues? Your local leaders.
Yep.
Nobody pays attention to their city council meetings. Nobody pays attention to the local mayor meetings. Nobody pays attention to the city commission meetings or all of those things. And that's where all of your real estate laws are developed. That's where even if you're talking about vacation rentals here locally, like go to those meetings. Your city is going to be what decides what's okay for those and what the taxes are on those and what can help curb those kind of behaviors. But you have to start by paying attention to what's going on locally. And people only want to pay attention to what's going on the big stage.
Agree.
Really fast.
What's that, Zach?
Says she talks really fast when she's angry.
No, I mean, she is right? Because your government starts locally and then goes up to the federal level, right? I think we had this discussion on a most recent podcast where we went, or maybe it was in one of my videos. But Gary, I see like your brain's thinking over there. What do you got, Gary? What do you got for us?
Like he wants to fucking house kick someone in the face right now, bro.
Right.
No, it's like, so, I mean, I'm just thinking of the changes that I've seen in my life. And, more recently, these things have been sped up. But I'm still very optimistic about America. I still think that the people still have the power for the most part. I still think our shitty situation is still better than a lot of other countries. That's why we have a problem. That's why people are breaking into our fucking borders, right? Like, people still want to come here. Like, I still feel like America is a pretty rad place to live. It's had its brighter times, and we're going through a fucking rough patch right now, but I'm still optimistic. I still see people out there having a good time. The people I still talk to are still great people. I don't know. It's in a shitty situation right now. It's got a bad knee, but I think it's still a rad place.
I think we actually have 2 broken legs, and here's my reasoning why. All right, so I'm gonna get a little bit more. I'm gonna get a little more political over here because here's a problem. We have an administration that is trying to divide us right now. We have an administration that's separating us between our Republican or Democrat. If you're Republican, you're considered a demon spawn, and everybody is supposed to hate you, and you're all MAGA, right? You're all MAGA no matter what. All right, so if you're a Republican, you're no matter what, you're MAGA. You might not even be MAGA. I've already told everybody who actually I'm rooting for it. It ain't DeSantis or it ain't Trump, and it ain't nobody from the Democratic side. I am actually looking into Vivek, but when I'm looking at all this aspect, we're being divided by our color. We're being divided by our political stance. From back in the day, we didn't give 2 flying fucks whether you're Republican or whether you're a Democrat. If we argued, we disagreed, it was great. We had a disagreement, we left. But now you're being told that families are being separated because of this. Families are being destroyed. Friendships are being destroyed. There's a lot more shit that's happened within our country. Now, when you're saying that we're not being broke, but here's the problem. When parents can't even go to a school board meeting to voice their opinions on how their kids are being educated, that's a problem. The government has told the school boards to notify the FBI of the situation because those parents are now being identified as domestic terrorists. If you go to the school board to speak,
that was a couple of years ago, right? That started.
No, that's last year.
No, but I'm saying that started a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So like, Now,
Parental rights have been under attack for quite a while, though. It didn't start a couple years ago. I mean, I've had multiple conversations over the years raising my kids where I've read articles about, parents having their children removed from their home because they let their 6 and 8-year-old walk down to the park by themselves that was on the corner. And somebody subjectively decided that they thought that. Now, did the parents get the kids back? Yes. Was it still a traumatic event for the children, for the parents that was completely unnecessary because it was someone's subjective opinion? Absolutely. And I think that's been something that's been an ongoing cause that I have been battling for a long time.
right. No, and I agree. And it is parents are being attacked for their parental rights. And we'll go back to the conversation I was having when we were younger. Look at how we were raised. We didn't have half the shit we see now, right? The way we were raised when I was in high school, I think, Gary, you and I had this conversation before. When I was in high school, we had kids that pull up in pickup trucks with their shotties in the back window, chilling in there. We didn't have these mass shootings. We didn't have people coming after pew-pews back then. The only time they finally came after pew-pews was back during the what are the name of those kids there? The Columbine incident. That's when they started going after that, right? During Columbine.
When was that, like 1996?
I think so. It's like 96 or 97 for Columbine. But we didn't have these issues back then. Parents didn't really worry about us too much. We knew what we were doing. We screwed up. We realized we screwed up, but our parents also was able to give us a whooping.
I was literally just going to say, if we stepped out of line, we could get our ass kicked. Nowadays, if you raise your voice to your kid, you have CPS at your door.
I mean, there was moments when you and I used to sit at the dinner table, half-phased, trying not to contact with dad's eyes because we were friggin' completely obliterated from friggin' drinking with the guy at the old rehab place and smoking bees all day long. So,
oh, dude, my dad named his belt when I was younger Mr. Blue. So if I got in trouble, he'd be like, Mr. Blue's going to come out later. I'd fucking run to the woods. I wouldn't come back till it was bedtime. When I came back, I thought my dad wasn't asleep. Nope, I'd be getting my ass kicked.
So KC down below says he spent 15 years as a school cop. What's that, Vicky?
We had the paddle.
See, I got the belt.
Our names were on it. Me and my sisters.
See, I never got a paddle. I got the belt.
I got the belt or bare hand.
That or there was a twig. Like my mom had one of her ex-husbands always had a twig.
Switch.
Yeah.
Switch.
And we'd have to go pick that one. And then if you try to be smart and you grab a book to put the book in your rear hind and they found out, oh man, it was all over with. You got extra. Yeah, you got extra. Casey over in TikTok says, Vicky got the paddle. I'm not surprised.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that I forget what state it is, but I'm pretty sure that their teachers are still allowed to punish the kids in school.
I think it's Catholic teachers, aren't they? Catholic teachers, I believe.
Yes.
No?
Yes,
Only in
I
like
was in
one
a Catholic
state, but
school.
it's not all Catholic.
What is it, like Arkansas?
My kids are all in Catholic school, and I can tell you that is not the case here.
So
I
let me ask
remember
you that.
Second grade.
What's that, Vicky?
Second grade, I was in a Catholic school in Albany, and I don't know, I think I said something out of line to the nun because she was the teachers were nuns, and she took a ruler to the top of my hand because I said something when I wasn't supposed to in second grade.
KC down in the chat saying Texas still has corporal punishment in school.
I'm thinking of Texas then.
All right.
It's just like Texas. They have the death penalty and they use it.
Right. Maine does not.
Someone, they're going to kill you back. That's their policy.
We've had this conversation. This is one that Gary's kind of strong on as well. We've talked about the death penalty there. We've had some pretty. This is what I love about having an open panel because everybody has different opinions. I don't think you believed in the death penalty, right, Gary?
Was this when I was liberal?
Might have been.
Yeah. Because I'm all about it. I think all about it. Yeah. All about it. I feel like about
it. I feel like if you commit a crime where you took someone's life, you should get your life taken as well.
So Gary, when did that change for you?
Early in the last administration.
I feel like if you go to jail for a crime that involves children, then you should get the death penalty automatically.
So Gary, as a liberal from the last administration, let me ask you this, because the podcast was titled financial, whatever, but I don't care where we're going with it now. during the last administration, would you say that you lived a little bit of a better life financially then than you do now during this current administration?
Nah, I make more money now.
Trump 2024.
So
I make more money now, so it's no.
So you make more money, and do you feel like you're at the same level?
I don't understand that. What do you mean?
I
make
Right, you make more money, but are you still living the same lifestyle and having pretty much the same amount in your bank account? Like it didn't make
no, I'm in a surplus right now for sure. I'm in a better position now than I was then.
Okay, so it is. See, and that's the funny thing because we're having this conversation, but it is absolutely different for everybody.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so my position is probably going to be different than a lot of people. Like, I'm, my market. You and I talk about what I'm doing for sales, and I fucking hate the people that I sell to, but it's an industry that has its ups and downs. And like during COVID, we did better than we ever did before. And like right now we're in a slump, but I'm still doing all right.
Right.
Right. Like my groceries cost.
Now, but it's housing definitely that has, so I'm at the same position as I was.
Right.
Even though I'm making more money because my housing costs have doubled.
Casey, he sells flooring, Casey. But no, I get it because like the way I look at it is I'm as a business owner perspective in this type of industry that I'm in, I've noticed that we are seeing a bigger financial cost. Granted, after these stupid lockdowns that happened, we did lose a couple of clients, which also set us back. But we've noticed the industries that we operate in are hurting, and they're hurting bad. Some of the biggest industries hit after this is the restaurant industry. The restaurant industry took one of the biggest hits. Gym industries are starting to come back. I'm noticing that slowly. The gym industry did hurt, but they're starting to come back slowly in our area. But mainly,
I fucking wish the fitness industry would blow up. Like I honestly wish.
In order for the fitness industry to blow up, people got to be able to make sure they got the roofs over their head. We were talking, about being financially responsible. They got to make sure they got that roof over their head. Like I was saying earlier, we have homeless people that are here that are in our city who have jobs. And I think if we really go back to the financial thing, I get it. The gym should blow up because number one, we should be worrying about our health. There's a song that just recently came up that pissed off a lot
running,
of people.
push-ups, squats, that's all free, right? I mean, just health in general, people should be taking care of their health.
Agreed.
It's not the fitness industry. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying working out in a gym, paying for a gym membership doesn't mean you can't work out, but it is.
If somebody has Hulu, if somebody has Amazon Prime, if somebody has one of those things, they can get rid of it. If someone's buying 2 Starbucks a month, don't buy those 2 Starbucks and spend that $10 at Planet Fitness.
Correct. You can spend it at Planet Fitness, but saving that $25 a month isn't going to pay for your increase of $2,000 a month in housing.
So I think our biggest, so I give it McPhil. So McPhil's bringing up the cost of the housing industry that we're really seeing here. And I'm not sure if you guys are seeing it out in Portland, Oregon, or whether or not. I mean, you guys have a shit ton of homeless people as well.
Oh, the homeless is ridiculous here.
Okay, so we do have a problem with, like McFiddle saying, people buying up houses and turning them into these multi-complexes and stuff like that, either Airbnbs. There used to be a law, and I don't know if the law is still in effect, but they're supposed to take, like when they build these big buildings, a certain percentage of those buildings are supposed to be for people on Section 8. It's supposed to be rated on how much money they make so those people can get into that housing. And then the other was your normal rent. So for instance, someone would rent out that place, $2,500 for you and your family because, you don't fit that income. But for somebody else who fits in this income, their $2,500 were turned down to like $800. It was all income based, but they're not. I don't think they're doing that anymore, really.
We have that here. The difference is though, like the requirements to be eligible for something like that means you have to be like desolate. Like you have to be making nothing. And so those people who are actually qualifying have no encouragement to even make $1 more because they're going to lose their house if they make $1 more per hour. And the people who are, say, like, making $50,000 a year, but still can't qualify even to rent an apartment here, don't also qualify for that that program because they make too much money.
So that's a really big problem if you think about it. That's
It's
a really
huge
big
issue here in South Florida. I mean, it's one of, I would say, like the biggest issue in all of Florida, but especially I would say Tampa, Orlando, West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. Like those main metropolitan areas. It's a big issue here.
So that's a huge issue. And then that goes back on a lot of the other financial aid that people should be able to get too, right? But some of the people don't qualify for that. So you get a family, we'll say, that's struggling, whatever, to feed their family. We see it all the time in our schools. Matter of fact, our school's now giving out, we got a thing in the mail saying that if you kids need it, check off on this box and we'll send them home with a backpack on the weekend so they get food. Like they're starting to do that because people they're having a hard time. And it's crazy. And the housing market's one of the biggest problems that we are having. Uh-oh. Where'd you go, Gary? Did your phone die?
It's getting close.
Mark, too, like I touched on it just a little bit, but we owned a restaurant and we had an employee, and this was years ago, so this has been an issue for a long time, the way our benefits and social net is structured. As we had an employee who was a rock star and we wanted to promote her, we wanted to make her a lead, wanted to like maybe eventually bring her into like assistant manager position, but she had benefits and she was her kids had like subsidized daycare and she had subsidized housing and even just making a little bit more. So she had no incentive to do better because there was nothing to bridge that gap between doing a little bit better and being able to stand on her own 2 feet. It's an all or nothing thing. Like you either qualify or you don't. And she would have lost everything. And so she had no incentive to do better. And I think that's also a real issue we see, across the country.
No, I will agree to that because I made a podcast a while back that, that was one of the things my wife and I, when we first got together, we were on every like aid that we could imagine to our business built up to the point where we didn't need it anymore and we're able to get off of it. But it is like they control you when you're on that, right? So when you're on these government assisted stuff, they control your whole life. You have to check in every year. They got to check your financials and check all this. If you're over by, like you said, $2, just $2 over on that month, they'll either penalize you by taking away a certain percentage of your benefits at that time, or they'll tell you don't qualify anymore. And that's one of the things, like you were just saying with her. So I know Gary's kind of trying to brainstorm. So let me put it in a perspective, Gary. Let's just say Jane's working for McFiddle's restaurant. Jane gets, we'll say, $400 extra, $400 from state aid for her food stamps. She gets her medical for her and her kids. Plus she gets $400 a month to help out. And plus she gets food stamps. Okay. No, we'll just say $400 food stamps. We won't even worry about TANF if she's with somebody. So she's getting $400 in food stamps. Plus she's getting medical for her and her kids. Say McFiddle and her husband hired, they want to give her a raise. They give her a raise, but it only gives her an extra $200 a month. So she makes that $200 a month. The state looks at that and says, oh, I'm sorry, Jane. So now that you're making that $200, we're taking away your medical and we're taking away your $400 because now you're making over that amount. So now this poor girl's missing full-blown medical, which she'll have to pay for through her employer, which medical right now, as you know, Gary, is pretty fucking pricey when you go through a company. And then she also loses that extra $200. So now she's essentially up a shit's creek and she's screwed financially. And because she makes that, we'll say she's in housing. Housing's going to look at this and go, oh shit, you're getting an extra $200. I'm sorry, but because of that, your rent's now going to go to full blown price. And we'll just say, because of where she fell in that income bracket, we'll just say her rent was $600 a month. But because she now qualifies over that, they're going to say, I'm sorry, your rent just went to $1,200 a month. So now her rent just increased an additional $600. So what they essentially did is they just put that poor girl out on the street because she was trying to do better, to try to better her life, to, get out of the system. But because of all this that went on a downfall, now this poor girl's moving in with a vehicle with her kid and she's now homeless.
And
that's the problem with our system.
How'd you get out of that?
I had applied, and I have a kid who's autistic. So I was told to apply for the Social Security applied for even the help with the daycare, all the different services, and I got denied because my boyfriend makes more money that I live with him, even though we're not married, and they denied me for everything.
So how'd
Because-
you get out of that? How'd you get out of that?
Because of my son being autistic, they still denied me. And the only thing that I have that does not cost me anything is the insurance, because the insurance is under me with all 3 of my kids.
Right.
That's the only one I still to this day don't have to pay for. But everything else I got denied everything because I make too much money.
So Casey was saying his employee asked for a $1 cut. How did I get out of it? Well, see, I'm lucky, and like some of the people that are in the system are. Some of the people that are in the system are single, so they can't work 2 jobs or whatever. We got out of it because we were
I know how you
system,
got out.
right. We're a 2-parent system. That's how we were able to get out of it, right? We grinded because we were 2 parents involved. What I feel bad is for a lot of these single parents out there that don't have that, so they're unable to do that battle. Because there's a lot of people out there. They also don't have that support system for the children. You got these single moms who got dads that just don't care, and the dads are not even there for their kids. So this poor lady's got her kids, and she's trying to work a job. She may have her neighbor watch those kids for those 5 or 6 hours while she's working, but she's got to be back. And the sad part is sometimes these people that she has watching her kids so she can make a little extra money might not even be people she fully trusts. And she knows that she's going to be back. Oh shit, I got to be back before 6 o'clock because I know that husband's going to be dead ass drunk, and I don't know what's going to be with my kids. So they're back. But unfortunately they don't have, and that's a problem with our system on all spectrums and every walks of life. And it's really hard to get out of that.
To this point, and to Gary's point about like there's jobs out there and stuff, though, I will say like I grind. You know, I may be a single mom with like 3 kids. So I'm complaining because I think it's ridiculous what's going on in, you know, where I live and what has happened in the last few years. But I make it work. But it's not I mean, there's a cost to that. There's a sacrifice into time with my children. Which means that's going to impact my ability to parent them in a certain way. You know, that's going to impact them, you know, and how they turn out in life. Like there's a lot of costs associated with that grind. And I don't think it's something, while it's something that can be done, I don't know that it's overly beneficial to us as a society to have parents who are spending 70 or 80 hours working and not bringing up their children.
Zach, I seen you over there quite quiet, but you've been shaking your head. What you got, Zach?
I'm just listening.
That's it. I mean, this is. I love having an open forum like this because it does open up. We got everybody from every walks of life in here, which is great. Gary, I can see this thinking face on Gary. You can tell when he's got like this thinking, his brain's trying to work and figure out how to word certain things.
So I mean, we're going over a lot of the extremes, right? So they're
not extreme reality.
Yeah, but they're the extremes. Like there's a spectrum of life. Like we have a lower class, we have a middle class, we have an upper class, right? That's just what it is. That's
we have.
You don't think we don't have a middle? What do we not have?
I think the middle class has been destroyed right now.
But it still
Class
exists.
is now the poor class, and the high class is now the middle class.
I can show you the numbers and statistics on this, and I will after this show. But I think, Gary, your information is incorrect.
All right, but I'm saying my information is my observation, right? So like I'm seeing, like this is what I was talking with Mark about earlier today. Like I still see a lot of people going out. I still see a lot of people spending money. So I get that there's a lot of people who are struggling, right? There's a lot of people who are in really shitty situations, and I'm not trying to downplay or dismiss that. My point is there's still a lot of people who are spending a lot of money right now. Like things are more expensive than they ever have been, and they shouldn't. Like I'm not happy with the current state of things, to be clear. Like I don't think in America people should be struggling with the things that you guys are talking about. We shouldn't, like the whole Section 8 thing, the amount of people that are using that program should be so small that it's almost non-existent, right? Like that's the reality of the situation.
Right.
There's so many fucking people that need that and are leaning on that where it's really disappointing. Like, we as a country are not supposed to be in this current state. We're just not. But I still see a lot of people out there spending a lot of money. I still see people buying fucking brand new cars. I'm seeing brand new cars on the road every goddamn day. So for me, I know that things are very tough for a lot of people. I've been in a situation, not as bad as Mark. I have so much respect for Mark, and I've told him this a million times. I've seen this fool grind and come out of being dependent on the government, right?
Hold the back of my neck.
Literally. Like, I've been in situations where, like, I had neighbors when I was living in my cubicle apartment that I was talking about, where, like, I had neighbors that had to, like, bring food for me because I couldn't afford food. Like, I paid my rent and I paid all my shit, but I didn't have money for food. And, like, I had really fucking cool neighbors, and they all pulled together some bread and a fucking half a gallon of milk, and, like, people hooked me up. Like, I've been there. I know a little bit about what it feels like, right? Like, I've been lucky enough to avoid having to, like, raise a family in that situation. So, like, my heart goes out to everybody that's dealt with that, because that's fucked up. But there's still a lot of opportunity out there. There's still, like, this is still America. Like, I am optimistic, and I feel like there's still a lot of opportunity for people to get their shit into a much better situation. It's not fucking easy. It should be easier, and there should be more resources, but my brother did it. Like, I've seen people a lot smarter than him do it. Little jab for you there. So you know what I mean? It's just, it's shitty. And I'm really sorry that people have to deal with that, because it's fucked up. But you're grinding, right, McFiddle? Like, you're grinding and you're getting your shit done. And people can be relentless. People can get their shit together if they really fucking want to. And I've seen people get their shit together. It's hard, and we should have more resources. And this administration is legalizing drug use in the streets, and they're doing shit ass backwards. It's not good, but I'm optimistic. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, fucking people can afford a gym. People can afford these things. They just have to sacrifice, and they have to grind right now. It's just a shitty situation right now. But I'm really optimistic. I still believe in America, and I still believe the future is bright.
Okay, so I'm going to let Zach McFiddle next. Zach, you were ready to say
I'll
something?
shut up.
No, I got you. I got a lot of people that want to say some stuff here. So I see where you're going. I've got words too. Zach, go for it. Do you have nothing, Zach? All right, McFiddle, go.
I was eating snacks and listening.
Oh, okay. You always like
I
put
want to
stuff in
agree
your
with
mouth.
you on the fact that, yes, I do agree that there is opportunity, and there is an opportunity to be optimistic. Like, I think it's doable. I think that one of the things that makes me optimistic is I think most of us, like the majority of us, are starting to realize that the majority of us have the same concerns, and the same ideals, and the same goals, right? We all want similar things. And I think the more interactions we have like this on TikTok and in other places, where we can start to see, like, oh, that person's different than me. That person has a different job. He makes more money. He makes less money. He's a different color. He's all of these things. But we all still want a healthy family. We all still need to provide groceries for our family. We all still want reasonable, affordable housing. We still all have these same general concerns, and we can find a, way to work towards a solution together, rather than focusing on the divisions that are being shoved in our face all the time.
Okay. So
I agree completely.
if this TikTok feed goes down within the next 5 to 10 minutes, please note that we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and Kick. With that being said, I think one of the biggest problems is we all need to agree that we're fucking, whether we're left or right, we're not left or right, we're one. We're fucking Americans, and we need to realize that we're fucking Americans. We need to act as such. We need to stop attacking each other. We do need to close our fucking borders, and we do need to worry about our people on our own fucking soil before we worry about anybody else. And the reason why is we do have a drug epidemic here in the United States of America. Drugs are being put down to people's mouths, which is making them force-fed to the government. When we allow people to live off the government for financial assistance, and it's hard for them to get out of that, and the government likes that because they control you when you are on government assistance programs, and they love it. They also, for Gary's aspect, on the working out aspect. Yes, they love it when you eat your Twinkies and all your fatty cakes that you can, because why? Because when you are in that class, you're dependent on the government again, because you're unable to work, because you're unhealthy. So therefore you need their assistance to get back to work. But our problem is we need to come together as one and support each other instead of going after each other. We are attacking each other because we're left and right. Yeah, there's a lot of far left. There's also a lot of far right. It does go both ways. We do need to come to a middle of a situation and agree with each other. We do need to understand that it's okay to agree and disagree with people, because that's all right. It's all right to agree and disagree. Who gives a flying fuck if you like Joe Biden? Who gives a flying fuck if I like fucking Trump? God damn it, I couldn't even spit out his fucking name in time.
Vivek.
Yeah, I fucking love Vivek, man. I'm looking more towards him, but I'm still skeptical. I'm still researching him. But I'm telling you, we just need to stop this division. We need to stop allowing people to control us. We need to stop listening to mainstream media, because unfortunately they're also controlling the freaking divide. They only want you to see the worst in things. They want, and unfortunately they're showing the worst on one side instead of both sides. If they actually start showing the worst on both sides, more people are going to be like, oh shit, why are they acting like that? They're supposed to be for us. And then vice versa. But no, they're only showing one side. The media is your blind eye to everything. The media is holding you by a fucking leash, and you're letting them control you. Stop letting that happen. Zach, you got some, because I'm going on.
Yeah.
Go
And
for it.
that's the reason I liked Trump when he was in office. He would call the fucking media out every goddamn time. And it was the funniest shit in the fucking world. He'd be like, no, I'm not taking questions from you. You're seeing it in your fake news.
But that's the problem, though. Like, it's not just CNN; it's also Fox. I'll gladly call out Fox as well. It's small podcasts like myself, like Joe Rogan, all these podcasts out there that are actually bringing information out that people really need to start opening up their eyes and go, there's more than just my channel 6, 8, 13, Fox, CNN, MSNBC. There's more out there. Start talking to your neighbors. Even if you got a neighbor who's fucking kissy ass with fucking Joe Biden, talk to them. And I bet you guys are going to find out that you have some shit in common. And it's not just all this left and right bullshit. You got shit in freaking common. Just talk to your freaking neighbors. Talk to your boss. And if once you guys disagree with something, great. Have that conversation. We disagree with this. How do we fix this? We have a problem in our border, right? We got a lot of people coming over. Yes, a lot of finances going to these people that are crossing the border. How do we fix this? There is a way to freaking fix it. Unfortunately, our government's not focusing on that, because they're focusing on attacking each other. The left is attacking the right is attacking the left, instead of saying, oh shit, we got a problem in fucking America. Let's take care of our own first. There's a reason why our men and women who went over fucking seas and died for our fucking flag. But unfortunately, their deaths are going in fucking vain, because our country's gone to shit, and we're not taking care of our own right now. We're taking care of the fucking foreigners. We're putting money overseas when it should be put over to American people. We're putting money over to a freaking bullshit war when it should be taken care of over here to the American people, helping them get the housing they need. But unfortunately, okay, anybody else want to take over, please before I get it bananaed? Please, anybody take over?
Take a breath.
Breathe, Mark. Breathe.
You did some like pretty good like circular breathing right there. That was all one.
Yeah.
That's solid. That was pretty good.
I've been censored for too long. And there's the other fucking thing. Fucking censored. We got to be careful on how we talk on this app over here on TikTok. We got to be proud of how we talk on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn.
I was going to say it's more than just TikTok.
We're too scared to speak our mind because we're censored, and they don't like it when we speak our mind, because what happens when we speak our minds? We realize, oh shit, I agree with you.
Hey, can someone send Mark a duck? Shut him the fuck up.
I agree with you. You know, there's a problem with that. We need to stop being censored, because when we're not censored, people go, oh shit, wait a minute. I agree with you. I don't agree with you. I agree with you. That's the fucking problem. They don't want people to agree with each other. They don't want us to hear each other, because if we start hearing each other, we start agreeing with each other, guess what? We're greater together, but we're worse when we're divided. When we're divided, they control us. When we're together, they don't fucking control us. They got to remember.
United we stand, divided we fall. If we were still reciting that every freaking morning, maybe people would remember it.
They got to remember the reason why we pay our tax dollars. They get, okay, let's go. Gary, how are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So
Oh,
it's I think we've all been
Of a podcast.
we've been conditioned to a point where if we disagree with something that somebody says, that we have to like not like that person. And I think that's pretty dangerous, right? Like we can so like I was talking about that. I can't remember who I was talking with this about, but it's like if you have, how many kids do you have? Who here? Y'all have kids, right? Y'all have a few kids, 3 kids, 3 kids. How fucking hard is it to just keep your family all on the same page? If you got 3, like it's pretty challenging, right? Like
everybody's unique.
Everybody's a different person, right? Some people like the game, some people do sports,
They're all different.
some people like pasta, some people want meat. Like it's hard, right? That's only a house of 4 or 5 people, 6 people, right? Then you have America, 360 million morons all doing different shit. It's really complicated to keep everybody on the same page. You can't do it, right? So we have a weird, goofy 2-party system. And it's like, it's drawing this really interesting divide where if you're on one side or the other side is the enemy. And it shouldn't be like that. Like we kind of need both sides to work together. Like,
When's the last time you've seen an independent win?
I don't think they can. Like I feel, I mean, I'm not very
they can,
politically.
But they can't because the left and right would fight against that independent. And
like,
that was,
well, so what do we have? We have the DNC and so we have the Democrats and the Republicans.
right.
You can't even be a part of either one of those debates. 37-second fucking speeches
bullshit,
that they
right?
have, which is kind of weird. Like I feel like the Republican convention talk that was like a couple weeks ago or whatever, I can't even remember. It's 2 hours long. You have 11 dipshits up there all trying to like get their points across. It's like you need to have a week dedicated to every one of those people, or you need like a day dedicated with 3 hours one-on-one with the moderator and that person for them to get out their points, right? Like all they do is talk shit to each other. They're not talking about real issues. When I was a kid, we did this. Like DeSantis doesn't know what he's talking about because he lives in fucking Alligatorville. And it's like, just stop talking shit about each other. And like, here's an issue. There's a bunch of people on Section 8. Let's get them off of this fucking program. What is your plan to do that?
Right. How do we fix it?
How do we fix the problem?
What's the problem? What's the
What do
solution?
you guys think of Katie Porter?
Don't even know who that is.
She's a representative out of Southern California. I'll be the first to say she's a Democrat, and I was very skeptical. She's unbought. She is fearless. She's the one that goes into Congress with her whiteboard. Have you guys seen? You guys have
I have not seen her. No.
She is amazing. She just lets everybody, she asks the right questions and lets them make themselves look like an idiot. It's great. I'm telling you, you should look into her. And that's where I'm saying, like, with the party thing, like, people have it so in their head, like, I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. Like, I can't look to anybody else. And I think we need to wake up and just start looking at who makes sense. Who's trying to solve a problem and who's just talking about themselves.
Right. Well, look at RFK. Look at when he pissed off his party. When he was talking about and he started calling them out for what it was, bullshit. They attacked him. And then they wanted to remove him from the floor. So there is, and it's going to hurt me to say this, there are some good Democrats out there, but the problem is we've got very, very far left people right now who are controlling our government. And Gary, you said this before, the current guy who's sitting in office, I will be careful saying his name. He's not running the shit. He's not. He's got a puppeteer and they're over there with their little strings pupping him. That's the last press conference I just watched where he talked about the strikes. He literally came out, said what he had to say about the strike. As the reporter's ready to ask questions, He about faced and walked right out the freaking door. Like, didn't answer any freaking questions because they tell him to. Because why? Well, because if he does, he's going to talk about how great his freaking ice cream was and how he almost lost his cat and his Porsche in a fire.
Or we can just see him face plant like he does every fucking time.
Oh man.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
I mean, my position, like with the whole president thing, is like presidents are just PR. Like they're not in charge. Like the military is in charge. The 3-letter agencies are in charge. These people are in the office 4 to 8 years. So when you get elected, you disappear for 2 weeks and they fill you in on this is what's really going on. And you're going to do what we say. And that's that. And whoever those people are, you know, could be BlackRock. It could be the WEF. It could be a lot of other people. It's definitely the president is PR. And, you know, even with Trump being in there, like kind of breaking the mold and calling everybody out, he still wasn't even in charge. He was like he's making a decision, right, publicly, but he's being fed information from high-ranking military officials. So he's being told what to do. And then he gets to like make a decision. And it's like all presidents, unfortunately, they're just PR. They're just they are the face of the nation.
And that's one of the reasons why I will say why I'm looking at Vivek as if he can get on the board, because if he can do what he says, now mind you, big thing. If he can do what he says, I would love to see some of these 3-letter agencies be brought down to their knees and broken down the way he says he can do it. And I guess, and the way he worded is he can do it, but there's a certain way he does it. He explained it out. Everybody look it up on a podcast. There is a podcast out there telling him how he can actually break down the FBI. And I agree with him. The FBI should be broken down because it's absolutely. Where's my censor button? It's the FBI is. So, you know, and the same with the CIA. Yeah, they're corrupt as well.
Mm-hmm.
What about Scientology? Those guys are great, right?
Zach loves Scientology. I think Zach should join him.
I think Gary just made me go from 6 to midnight talking about that. All right.
I think Zach said he was going to join Scientology.
Well, he's got to figure it out somehow or another, right?
But no, I think we do need to look at bringing somebody in other than Republican or other than Democrat. Hell, I would love to bring somebody in young.
Hey.
What?
Speaking of Scientology.
Oh, fuck. Here you go, Gary.
Nothing to do with what you're talking about, but Danny Masterson, that was on that 70 show that just got sentenced to 30 years to life in prison.
Yeah.
He was head person in Scientology.
Really?
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. But no, fuck, they threw me off. Yeah.
So hold on. No, I'll tie it in. You were talking about Vivek trying to break apart.
Right. Saying how we should have somebody young too come into office instead of these 80 and 90-year-olds that are going to fucking croak soon. For sure. There's ageism in the regular workplace, so there should be ageism in the fucking political leadership, right? Like that's also a limit. There should be a cutoff point where you are somehow not in charge of shit anymore.
Aged out, just like foster
Well,
care.
not only just aged out, but like for our Senate and stuff like that. They should only see our presidencies can have 8 years. So I say that we should give them 16. That allows them to go through 2 different presidencies and then boot them out. You say less? No. You say less than 16 years?
I think that's a lot.
You think 16 years a lot? You think they should be 8 years just like the presidency?
I think the max should be the same. Maybe they should overlap. Whatever. You start over.
Quality checks, make sure they can do their job properly.
I would love for those motherfuckers to have to pass a physical. They should be able to run a fucking 6-minute mile.
You say they should, but then again, you got, what is it? Fat who just sat there and collapsed multiple times. Also in the hospital
shouldn't be involved at all.
He's still in office, and he shouldn't be. But why is he still in office? Because if he gets removed, a Republican gets put in his place, and they don't want that. They're too worried about their numbers. That's why we need to figure a way, number one, to put independence in there, because could you imagine what an independent, someone who's not left, not right, could probably do for America, how they could possibly
I
run
don't
our
think it has
country?
anything to do with that. I think it has to do with who are they beholden to? Where is the money? Follow the money. Where's their money coming from?
Right.
What promises did they make to what lobbyists? And that's the problem.
Lobbying in itself should be fucking criminal. It should be
not.
illegal. You shouldn't take
That's the
any money from pharmaceuticals. You shouldn't take any money from Microsoft. Like, none of it should come from big oil, big tech. None of it. Like, it should be 100% grassroots from the people. Corporations shouldn't even be listed as entities. Like, there's some weird shit.
With social media now. Like, they have a platform. You can reach people.
Right.
Yeah, you can reach anybody. Like, anybody can reach anybody.
$100 million to reach people on TikTok.
No.
If you got something to say and people want to hear it, you can reach them, as long as you're not, in trouble with TikTok and we're not censoring.
Right, exactly. And you talk about pharmaceuticals, that's another problem in America. We need to stop advertising our pharmaceuticals on TV. We are only 1 out of 2 countries that allow that to happen. We're drug peddling in America, and it's crazy. And then it's funny, you're like, when you watch these drug commercials, dude, at first you're watching, you're like, oh, that sounds good. And all of a sudden it starts saying it causes anal bleeding and possibly death. You're like, oh,
death.
fuck.
A side effect is death. I will deal with my arthritis, thank you. Like,
but yeah, we need to stop promoting pharmaceuticals. But then again, it goes back to money, right? They're paying a shit ton of money to the media. They're paying a shit ton of money to our government. Hence the reason why the got pushed out so damn fast. I wonder how much money played into that.
That was Trump's Operation Warp Speed, though.
It is always money.
Hey, I'm back. Did I just hear anal bleeding?
That was anal beating.
Yeah.
That's tomorrow. That's next week's podcast. No,
yeah. Yeah, Zach, we're going to use you as a guinea pig. We got somebody coming over to your house to demonstrate for us with you.
Well, I mean, we just use Sully. He gets that every night.
Oh, man.
And that's where we've been derailed.
I do have a topic I want to talk to you about after this is over. That we can probably do next week.
Gotcha. I mean, we're rocking about an hour and 20 minutes. And if we can go on, I'm about to get banned. So we should probably call it good here soon anyways. Because, yeah, I can get myself in trouble really well with this. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the board to anybody with final words tonight. I haven't done final words because I don't typically do political podcasts anymore, but tonight I felt special to do one tonight. Gary, you got final words?
I mean, I can just reiterate what I was saying earlier. I think there's a lot of areas where America needs to do better. But I'm really optimistic on the future. I think it's really in a fucked up spot right now. There's situations that need to be drastically improved, especially for people who are in hardship. But I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I think things will get better.
Zach?
I agree with Gary, and always wipe front to back.
Hey, that's great advice. Mick Fiddle.
Pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to your local elections. That's where it starts. That's where you're going to make a difference where you're at your home. That's where it starts. That's where they request federal money. That's what they look for, the programs that they want, the federal government to support. So start with your local government.
Vicky.
I agree with Gary. I just hope that my kids have a better future ahead of them than what is leading up to it as we speak.
And stop breaking your toes.
I haven't done it since.
All right. For everybody else on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, Kicked, as well as Apple, Spotify, and any other place that you may be listening to this podcast with. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please remember to always go out and talk to your neighbors. There is more to this world other than your electronics. I myself got to take my own advice. There is a big world out there, and we're unfortunately letting the media, our social medias, and everything else control our lives when there's more out there, and that might also be a problem with our mentals up here. So, folks, open your freaking eyes and stop being divided. Stop letting the media, stop letting the government divide us, and let's try to get fucking united again. With that, I'm out of here. Hope everybody has a fantastic night. Here we go.
You've You've been listening to the Mark G Show. You may know them from their political commentary, but there's a lot more to the fellas than politics. And that's why we created this show. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But